Okay, so going off your story.
This
is a perfect transition. We asked, this is called, our segment called The Bar Story. So,
bar story.
So okay. It's more a story, we explain it as pretty much if you're sitting at the bar and some random stranger comes up next to you and you're going to be there for the next hour blowing off steam on Friday.
I hope it's not that Lurch guy. Creepy dude
don't
or
worry,
something.
Okay. I don't think Lurch goes to the bar that much, so I wouldn't worry about that. But, what's the story that you have that is, about you, something that tells a story that best represents you, but at the same time, is interesting enough to keep the listener involved?
A story. Oh, man. Those are hard. This was hard. I thought about this one. And a story about me. I was thinking, it's not a story, it's just a thing I do. So I'll tell you a thing I do every year, and you can tell me if that's a story. And some people think this is a nutty thing, and I think it's... So every year, I get in my car, my Mini Cooper, with my little dog. And I have some rules. No GPS, no plan, no reservation, no interstates. And I get in my car, and sometimes I flip a coin and decide which way to go, north, south, east, west. And I go. For a week, 2 weeks, whenever I get tired of driving. And it's amazing because how often do we not have a plan, not have a place, not have a time, not have an expectation, and I never listen to like news or podcasts or anything. I just listen to music, and I meet amazing people. I see incredible places. There are more roads in this country that, and you can do this thing and you go, wonder what's down there. And you go. And it doesn't take long to realize, to let stuff fall away, because when this is called my trip to nowhere. Somebody else calls it that, but it got named that. Think about it. You can never be late. You can never be lost. You can never be wrong, because you don't have you're not going anywhere. So that's the thing I do. So it's fun. And there's lots of good stories from those trips.
That's so cool.
I can imagine. I'm just picturing just all the endless possibilities. We have this map right here.
Yeah. So this is our starting point.
That's our trip to nowhere map. Sometimes we come in here and we throw a dart at it and be like...
That's another good thing. And so I will buy...
There's so many dart marks in
I will buy paper maps, because what I learned after the first year is sometimes I want to know where I went, and then I get a highlighter, and at the end of the night I try to see where I went. Mm-hmm. It's really fun. And I stay in a lot of kind of just... one time I did leave a hotel because I was too scared. Okay. Mm-hmm. But, the kind you just drive up to?
Yep.
Yeah.
Motels.
A trip to nowhere. That
do it.
So cool.
Do it.
Do that. That's something that's going to be happening for sure on the Backpocket. A couple of podcasters taking a trip to nowhere.
Well, and you talk about average people, right? Mm-hmm. In your podcast, and they're everywhere, and they're just fascinating.
Yes. And
one of my more interesting observations is as I'm traveling, and I'll stop and I'll talk, and sometimes it's, because if you stop and you get gas and you'll ask somebody a question and they'll say, where are you going? And I'll say, I don't know. And we'll have this conversation, and people will start asking you what you're doing and why you're doing it. But I also realize people ask me more what I'm doing and not what I do. And when you think about the bar story, what do people usually ask you the first thing you sit down?
What do you do for a living?
Well, what do you do? Mm-hmm. Where do you go to school? What are you going to do? And you get defined by that. And this is more, you end up being defined by what you're doing in a way that's really interesting. Although one time coming back from Canada, when they said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm just driving. I kind of got pulled over and put in some little chairs for a while.
Let's sit her down, make sure she's not crazy.
They did. And they're like going through my whole car, underneath it. And Anyway, but it was fine. They let me out.
Very, very cool.
I like science, and I take a week off once a year.
Just driving. I don't know. Just driving.
That's shocking. Canadians are usually really nice.
I know, it was easy to get into Canada. It was coming back. So maybe it was our people that didn't want me back.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.